Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Carmen Rodriguez-Peralta, Director of a World of Music Concert Series. Very happy to welcome you to this lovely presentation. It's going to feature our faculty member, Marcos Santos. It's going to get you all excited and drumming in your seats and all kinds of wonderful things. Cool. And you'll also learn about Afro-Brazilian culture through rhythm and dance. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Marcos Santos.
All right, thank you so very much, Professor Carmen. It's wonderful to be part of your team. You are awesome. You know that. I hope you never get sick of me telling how awesome you are. Can I please clap to Professor Carmen?
Program. Very happy to be collaborating with them on this performance.
Oh, nice, sweet. Oh, that's right, nice. So it's great to be here in many levels as well, because then it is a chance, it's a privilege personally for me, an honor, to be sharing the music of my home country, Brazil. So again, thank you so very much. It's great to see familiar faces, Zach, Mark, so thank you for being here too. And by the way, World Drumming, if you guys dig what you're about to witness, so please sign up for my class in the spring. And can I hear say, oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Nice. So can we also welcome please to the stage from the Philippines, JoBeth. And momentarily, but let's acknowledge her now. From Lowell?
No, from Boston.
From Boston, yeah. Kaitlyn. Yes. So it'll be a little glimpse of the things that we're going to do today. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
And Professor Carmen, there are music students, a lot of music students here, right?
Yes, and some non-music.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't planning on this, but let's do this. So how about everybody like this? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. glimpse of the two styles that we're going to do. So we're going to start with Samba Reggae, the music of Blocos Afro, and then we're going to finish with a Brazilian martial art called Maculelê. And you say, oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
All right. Nice. Oh, the voice. It's like, it's very, very nice. Nice. But before we dive into these two styles, let's take a little glimpse of Afro-Brazilian music in general in Brazil, yeah? Come on in. Yeah. So, let's go over here. Oh, you can come in, yeah. Nice. Perfect time. We just started. Oh, no, you're doing great. Rice and beans, so here, play. Beautiful. All right, so Brazil, really quick. We don't have a lot of time, which we did. So Brazil is the largest country in South America. And as you can see over here, it takes basically half of the continent. But what I would like to point out, so you can see how much the African heritage, how strong the African heritage in Brazil is that 4 to 5 million Africans were taken to Brazil in the span of 200 years or so, if you think about it. So basically, 40% of all the Africans that were in the Atlantic slave trade ended up in Brazil. So to give you one last fact, is that I am from this state over here, from this city over here. It's called Salvador. Let me say please, Salvador!
Salvador!
So it's the state of Bahia, which is more or less in this area. So in my home state, basically, there is more people of African descent than in any country in Africa, except for Nigeria. So it's everywhere basically, the contribution, and that's what I would like to focus on. Is the beautiful story. Come on in, please. Great time, we just started. Welcome. Nice. So it is the legacy that I would like to focus on. It's such a dark. You okay there? It's okay with you. There's a spot here if you'd like. Okay, great. So what we would like to focus is then on the wonderful legacy that they left behind, despite this horrible moment of our human history. Cool. So to paint the scene that there is a large amount of Africans in Brazil, and they are interacting with the Europeans and native Brazilians, and that's how our music has developed throughout the decades. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Beautiful. There are many harbors. These arrows, these black arrows here, are what I selected as those are major points, major places in which you can find a strong Afro-Brazilian music. There are more places in where you can find Afro-Brazilian styles, but these are the 4 most influential. Actually 3 really, but I snuck one in there. So basically, let me just say Recife. So the city of Recife, nice, thank you. The city of Rio de Janeiro, which is, I guess, the most popular town outside of Brazil. And then in my hometown, which was the first capital of Brazil, Salvador. Beautiful. All right, so in a nutshell, this is more or less what I would like to share with you as far as the scene of Afro-Brazilian music in Brazil. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Beautiful. Now, let's dive into Samba Reggae. Here we go. Samba Reggae. Awesome. All right. So, we're gonna fast forward. And we were talking about colonial time. Now let's fast forward a couple hundred of years. In the 70s, in the 1970s, this happened. The music of Blocos Afro. Can we also make a relationship with what was happening in the United States in the 70s? If I may ask.
Vietnam.
Okay, Vietnam. As far as civil rights?
Oh, yeah, there's civil rights action.
Yes.
A lot of demonstrations and all that sort of thing.
That's right. So people of color were in the streets protesting and for civil equity, right? Oh yeah, civil rights. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens in the United States echoes throughout the world, and this is how it was in a way absorbed in Brazil. So this person here, the very reason why I am in front of you, his name is Neguinho do Samba. Would you like to say Neguinho?
Neguinho.
Do Samba.
Do Samba.
All right, thank you. This is the N word in Portuguese, by the way. But in Brazil, and I would like to bring this to your attention, the N word is a loving word. Compared to here, is that we can't say it at all. His very nickname is the N word, would be the translation would be the N word in the US. But this is there are so many people of color in Brazil that calling each other by that, it's actually loving. Cool. So he's the very reason why when I saw this group playing, he was the leader of a band called, let me just say, Olodum. And then when I saw Olodum play, when I saw him play, I would love to do this for the rest of my life. And then, long story short, a few miracles along the way, here I am. So grateful. So I'm super happy to share this style with you. This became a movement because they used music to then express their frustration about not being able to have equal opportunities in life. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
So in a nutshell, blocos afro are ensembles that play music that protest for rights for people of color. Cool?
Cool.
Nice. The most famous rhythm now, it's called Samba Reggae. Let me just say please, Samba Reggae.
Samba Reggae.
So often, good job everybody, often the Samba Reggae is associated now by a cultural movement, as it actually helped shape the identity of not only my hometown, but the country. We will leave that for, that's another hour of talking, yeah? But let's just leave it as it is. Cool. Let's take a look now at the instruments. Some of them are right here. Marco have played it. Zach have played it too. I so feel like asking you questions, but I won't, unless you want.
I haven't seen it's mine, I've tried it.
Well, you can always take a peek. All right. If you had to guess, what's the name of this drum?
Yes.
I know they all kind of look the same. They're all cylindrical, and I try to make it scale-ish a bit. So it's the smallest of the cylinder ones.
Hey,
Oh, I'm a second smallest of the cylinder.
Second.
All right. I'll give you. All right. Let me hear you say. I'll just give you the answer because of time. Let me hear you say, "Happy Nikki," and it can also be called "Happy." It's this instrument here I would love to demonstrate to you, but we'll leave that for another time. Or you can take my class. How about that? How does that sound? Yes. Plus, if I do it, it would be easier to do in low. I think acoustic-wise. All right. It's very, very loud. It cuts through everything. All right. So this is a traditional instrument, and then we have the bass drums, which traditionally there are three. As a group, they're called. Nice. Let me just say surdo. But I only brought two for you. One representing the lower end. They're usually tuned in as if you had a chord. So you have the root, and then either minor third or a perfect fourth, and then the highest one is up to the director. I like to do an octave. Some people even put a fifth there. All right, but here we only have one low one, so you can hear and check out the amazing acoustics of this room. You can hear them at the end. Yeah, and then the other one, much higher than that. Cool. So we have the repique, we have the two bass drums, the surdos, and we have also the. JoBeth, would you mind joining us, please, Mark? Let me. Do you want to say?
In English, we call this the snare drum. In Portuguese, it's the caixa.
Can we all say, please, caixa? Nice, nice. So here's the Samba Reggae beat on the caixa, please. And you will see now why it is called Samba Reggae. So here we got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, nice. Thank you, JoBeth. So what were we clapping? I was counting and asking you to clap. Did you notice? 1, 2, 3. What are we clapping here? The upbeats. And what music style is famous for the action on the upbeats? Check.
Reggae?
Makes sense? So you can. Thank you. What's your name?
Reggae.
So you can clap this. So now you can hear the influence on a Brazilian drum called caixa, the mix of Brazilian drums with reggae beats. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Let's play a little beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would hate to play with myself. You know? 'Cause I just threw a figure for JoBeth that we never practiced before. Good job. Okay, cool. So we have one more drum, which is the hand drum. Let me say please, chimbal.
Chimbal.
It's super quick. So basically, the chimbal has 3 basic sounds: a bass, snap, and the rhythm of Samba Reggae is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we try that with our bodies, please? So basically, we're gonna experience this like this. Chicky, 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 chicky. Awesome. Do we have a good glimpse of this style? Yeah. Nice. I love it. That's very cool. All right. Super. Then now let's hear now. This is the hardest part because I'm part of the video. It's hard for me to see myself. All right, long story short, I am in grad school. This is before actually I started the program. I believe that we could have a lot more good resources of music with Afro music. So I went to school and I'm trying to how can I produce professional and pay due respect to the folks that came before me. So how can I produce this media that can be used in universities but especially in secondary education? I think that formation there is very important for folks to experience that. Especially in Brazil, the curriculum to this day is very Eurocentric. So it's like, I'm going to school and I'm going to produce my own things and I'm going to offer to teachers. So hopefully they can incorporate more BIPOC subjects into their curriculum. Oh yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of my thing now. Okay, here is one of the assets that I started so much to improve. Please forgive me. But we'll hear some already. This is also a bit strange the way it starts because it's also done in 360. So you actually, I have the media, I can download to a VR goggle and you will be in Brazil.
Cool.
That's the goal, to take people to Brazil. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to this neighborhood called Praça da Sé in my hometown. And here we are. Okay, and this is a statue. Like, if this was one of my long courses, I would then explain who is this figure. His name is Zumbi. Let me say, please, Zumbi. Zumbi. He has a beautiful story too, but we won't get in. But I would like to plant the seed if you're interested. We can talk about it later. All right, and behind Zumbi, we're going to see this group called Achepelo. Let me say this, Achepelo.
Achepelo.
Which is fantastic to see a smaller scale, and then I show you a larger scale of a bloco afro. And again, bloco afros are the drumming ensemble. All right, so you have the three surdos, we have the repique. Here we go. We have the three surdos, the repique, and a chimbal. There's no snare that day.
Conhecer pouquinho dos instrumentos? Legal.
So I asked them to demonstrate their instruments.
É de chimbaleiro?
All right.
Can we listen a little bit of the chimbal? Sabonete?
Chimbal, three surdos. All right.
Here, maybe try together. Só que a gente vai tocar ritmo devagarzinho? Reggaezinho?
So this is the rhythm we just played for you. Sounds good. All right, cool. Well, that was the small scale version. Now we can skip this part. Now let's jump ahead and talk a little bit about the social impact that this Samba Reggae movement have done in Brazil. Okay, cool. All right, and we all know this gentleman. Mm-hmm. And can you shout his name so it's a little more interactive, please?
Michael Jackson.
Thank you, Michael Jackson. So this is a video that that was shot in 1998, 99, maybe 2000. I was still in Brazil that day, and really, so I was a 10-minute walk from this location. Somebody told me, "You're a percussionist, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And then the person said, "So Michael Jackson is in Pelourinho today." And then I was like, "You're funny." Yes, Michael Jackson in Pelourinho. You're joking. Anyways, it was true. So Spike Lee heard of this group and produced this music video with Michael Jackson. I'll let the video speak to itself. He revamped it 2 years ago as something happened to. When was the pandemic? 21, 22? So I think it was 20. When did Floyd? 22? 2020. So Spike Lee redid using Samba Reggae, which is also about rights for people of color. So he revamped the same video and used some images from that movement. Can you see in the back? Is it okay? shootings from 1999, 2000, and then some images from 2020. By the way, I got this from YouTube. The name of the track is They Don't Really Care About Us. So if you Google They Don't Really Care About Us, Spike Lee 2020, you can find the full version of this video. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
But let's focus on the positive. We are using art to fight for something, right? And this is what I would like. I'd love to wrap it up from this part of the drumming segment of Samba Reggae. Yes, it's the beautiful legacy and how we are using to make our world more just. Oh yeah?
Oh yes.
So with no further ado, now that we got a very understanding of the style, we have the context, let's then add some movements. I think we're ready for the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, everybody, for being a wonderful, wonderful audience. I am going to keep it short, but just like Marcus was saying that what happens in the U.S. echoes throughout the world, and the rise of Black consciousness and resistance and civil rights in the United States is permeating Brazil at this time. And just like the music are played on and the rhythms are of African descent, so is the movement, of course. And again, we see in the reference to reggae that we're on the upbeat, like everything is very, very bouncy, very energetic, very happy, but also has a flow throughout the body. And I know y'all are sitting, and that's totally fine, because we're gonna demonstrate something from a seated position. A lot of the movements, again, come from just this somatic feeling of really being in your body, of celebrating the body, but also are descendant of or make reference to Afro-Brazilian deities or a religious tradition that is connected to music and dance. And in this way, maybe we'll talk about it as archetypal, as in sort of like characters or energies that are associated with deities or elements or a style and feeling. So we'll just go through a little bit of what I did at the beginning, and I want you to sort of take that energy with your hands and sort of try and embody, again, these different archetypes that are related to Afro-Brazilian movement. So, I mean, of course, I came out and I was just stomping. So if you can stomp and feel a beat, and you know, you gotta have a smile, you gotta let that beat permeate your body. And then one thing that I was doing is here, you're stirring up the energy and the air and the wind. And you know, you're getting all the good vibes, maybe you're pushing away what doesn't belong. And this is in direct relation to a deity or an archetype of the wind and storm and tornadoes. Oya san or Oya. And you guys love. Okay. And then another style that I was doing is if you are looking in a mirror and you really want to make dance feel impactful, you want to look at your hands. And this represents some kind of self-reflection, but also honoring the beauty inside yourself. And this comes from the Afro-Brazilian deity Oshun, who's the goddess of fertility and sweet water and beauty, aesthetics. So here you also have to smile and you have to laugh because she also can be serious, but right now we are celebrating ourselves, which I think also has a lot to do with what is at the root of the local Afro movement of celebration, of acknowledgement of the self and the beauty in the self and the beauty of Black consciousness and Black bodies. So back when I was doing here, right? So this is again in and maybe you're sharpening your sword, getting ready for battle. And so you have now your really good energy in the hands. And this again comes from a deity of Ogun, who is a god of war and of opening the roads. Right? So you're always ready. You may be dancing, you may be fun, but you are ready to push a path forward, yeah? And you're ready to protect yourself and your community and your cultural significance. And then, finally, here, down, and up, down, and up. And this comes from another very regal king called Samba, who is the god of war and also of fire. So you are going down to the earth and up to the sky, and you are always very strong and proud, even though you are honoring the ground. And you just feel and through all these different, there's a million more ways to describe this dance, but these are, so I tried to pick movements in my solo that directly correlated to these Afro-Brazilian archetypical figures. And I don't know, do you have anything else to say? Oh, one other thing is that this is done in a parade setting, right? So when the local Afros take the streets, everybody follows along, and there may be principal dancers, and there's all different kinds of styles, but again, it's movements that are easy to follow and that are for everybody, and I think that is also a really important thing to know. And I've been playing with this man for 15 years probably, and what's so fun is that we are able to get everybody to move, and I think that is where I'll end for this session.
So you mentioned the important element of inclusion in Samba Reggae.
Everybody.
So it might be a good idea. Maybe we can stand for 30 seconds and then try some of the moves if you feel like doing it. How about
I just want you guys to be careful in front of your seats. I won't make you move forward and back. We can maybe move side to side.
All right, yeah?
Okay, so
30
if you
seconds.
feel like standing up, you can. And I can be like this. So you can see me? So we're both doing the dance box?
Sure.
Okay.
And so Mark, if you want, do you want to play here? Anybody wants to try this? It's just the beat one.
He's got it.
Yeah. So the hardest part is not to play loud. So, yeah. Nice. All right.
Yeah, okay, so let's get this groove going and we play.
5, 6, 7.
And again, bend your knees, feel the bounce, bring your body
Super. Yeah, we have 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Just fantastic. Nice. All right, so now we're wrapping up this chapter of Samba Reggae, and we are heading to then the second style I would like to share with you today, which is called, please, let me hear you say, please, Maculelê.
Maculelê.
All right. So Maculelê is a Brazilian martial art. During the slaves had one day off, and then they would have the opportunity to practice things that would not only make them feel human, but also maybe also give them also the tool of fighting for freedom if they had a chance to. So what did they have to do? They had to disguise a Brazilian martial art with music. So for the Portuguese, in case Brazil was colonized by the Portuguese. So for the Portuguese, they were just dancing and singing. But in fact, they were practicing. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
So Maculelê is from the countryside of, there's the state I mentioned to you, Bahia. And it's from the countryside of Bahia. Here's the capital, Salvador. Salvador must have, please don't quote me, between 5 and 6 million people. And then but Maculelê is from Santo Amaro, the second version of Maculelê. Yes, the second version of Maculelê. The first version was practiced by the Africans, the slaves. The second version, we're going to be introduced to it now. So it's an hour drive. All right, let's take a peek then at the history. Interesting. You changed everything, didn't change my computer. Oh. There you go. Awesome. All right. So here is Popó do Maculelê. So I mentioned to you that they used to practice Maculelê back in the colonial days. But then in 1888, there was the abolition of slavery in Brazil, and the slaves started dying, and so did this style. Up to when Popó do Maculelê in the 30s or so, 20s and 30s, brought it back from what he could remember that his ancestors were doing. So this version is most likely very different than the original version. That's why I mentioned the second version of Maculelê. So now moving on to the music. So what did he remember? He remembered these hand drums that were being played in ceremonies, in Afro-Brazilian ceremonies. Let me say Candomblé.
Candomblé.
And I'm starting to throw too much information, but in a nutshell, Candomblé is an Afro-Brazilian religion that worships the African warrior deities. Why warriors? Why did they worship the warriors in Brazil? Because there are hundreds of African deities, but in Brazil there are fewer that are worshipped. Why the warriors? Beg your pardon?
Is there like the embodiments?
Yes, that's the one that they get mounted, yes. But why would they worship only the warrior deities? And remember, all deities are entities that you would ask, you ask for wishes, you would wish, like angels.
For like strength?
For strength to fight for freedom. And that's why in Brazil, and that's why you heard Kaitlyn making so many analogies, and here's the shield, and so on. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Cool. So then he remembered, Popó remembered, there were hand drums. And here is one, so then the rhythm that he selected to be used in Maculelê. Traditionally, it's played with three hand drums. These hand drums are called atabaque, but each one of them have a name, and we'll leave that for another opportunity.
Do we need to take your class?
I wish I would teach something. Yes. So yes, you need to take. Yes, please take. So, Kaitlyn, would you mind doing
Yes,
it?
absolutely.
So then the hand drums, They're different sizes. We only have 2 here, but we can definitely have you experience it. The smallest one is being played by JoBeth, and if you want to experience, basically it would be tum kum chiki, 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 tum kum chiki. Okay, so this is the music that Popo, actually this music is still played in Brazil. And then this is the music that Popo remembered and he incorporated in the second iteration of Maculelê. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Beautiful. So we spoke about the hand drums, we spoke about the bell, which is called, let me hear say please, agogo.
Agogo.
Nice. And the most important now part of Maculelê are the wood sticks. Because that's what they had. Nowadays, Maculelê is practiced with machete, because once you hit metal on metal, you see the sparkles flying and it's a much better show. Yeah. But traditionally, it was wood sticks. Cool? All right, so Kaitlyn,
Yes.
this is a fantastic, it's almost a 74 movements. Actually, let me, yes. All right, really quick then. This is another production that we did, and then you're going to see. So my idea is to tell these stories of Brazilians and these music styles and how they impact our society nowadays. Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
But also in the media, I always add something historic so we can talk about it too. Obviously we don't have time, but today, but this is done in the Cruz Caída Monument in Brazil, which is one of UNESCO's World Heritage site. It has a really interesting story that for another time, of the stupidity of mankind sometimes. So I'm going to fast forward here. This is Maculelê. So it does look like they're dancing. And then unfortunately that day, the agogo player didn't show up. So what you just saw, I asked him, I was like, Anderson, do you mind please showing something basic? So people that watch can try, people that are watching can try, and that was the basic.
No.
No kidding. And we were shooting there, and I was like, that's basic. Okay, so here's when they went full out. I wanted to show. It'll take me a second. Let's move on. And lastly, before we try Maculelê with Kaitlyn, we try the movements. Lastly, I would like to share with you, I want to introduce you to Julie Simon. She is the director of the group called Tropicaleza in Riverside, California. It's like an hour from Los Angeles. And she fell in love with Afro-Brazilian music and dance, and now she's actually teaching to her group, plus she owns a dance studio, so she's also teaching Afro-Brazilian dance in Southern California as well. She talks a little bit about why.
I was really drawn to Maculelê because of its athleticism and its power, and I grew up my whole life as a competitive athlete, so that style of movement really spoke to me. And that was actually, interesting enough, the very first number I ever performed professionally was a Maculelê number. Hello, my name is...
Okay, all right, and then she says a few interesting things here. Oh, I know this always happens. Un segundo.
I am a warrior who dances, and so I employ movements that I've learned over the years and become a part of my vocabulary. I ingest them, I digest them, they germinate inside and they grow, and that becomes a movement that I use when I need to express my own liberation or my own freedom from oppression of whatever that is. The message or advice that I would give to women who would like to express freedom from oppression in their movement is to, yes, study the beautiful art of Maculelê and study why they used those exact movements, why the Afro-Brazilians, when they were expressing freedom at that moment, why was it that they chose? Why is it those movements? Because when you can understand the origin of where something comes from, then you're able to actually employ it in a way that is truly liberating for you, rather than just regurgitating something that is someone else's experience. So if you can learn from someone else's experience and then really dig in and dive in to see how that can become your story as well. And then to believe that there is something that you're willing to fight for and see what type of movements come out of you to fight those, because that's the true expression. Because a move is a move is a move. Until you give the intention and the meaning behind this movement, it's not gonna go very far. It's not gonna go very far in truly liberating you and having that radical change that I believe that when people were dancing Maculelê, that's what they were after, was a radical change.
All right. Amazing, huh? So now that we understand the context of the moves, might be time to try?
Absolutely. And now, Julie Simon had wonderful words and Marcus had wonderful words. One thing I like to say about Mesh Popo is that Maculelê was traditionally practiced by men, yes? But when Mesh Popo was rediscovering this art form and really brought it back to life, he taught his female relatives and people in the community. And so that is, a nice dovetail to Julie Simon's words about female empowerment. Also, Marcus said that there are two styles of Maculelê, right? Actually, the style that was practiced in Africa and a style that was practiced in Brazil. But we've seen a little bit here that I would posit that that the new style of Maculelê breaks again from Maculelê done usually in tradition and in a roda, often following a capoeira, which is an Afro-Brazilian martial art. That is kind of what those guys were doing, and in Cruz Caída, they were truly improvising. There was nothing, they were training sections of movement, but nothing was choreographed. You could kind of tell that they were completely improvising or, responding to one another, whereas there's a Afro-Brazilian folkloric dance style of Maculelê that is more choreographed and maybe has a different flavor, which is kind of what we saw in the Julie Simon video. And this is the flavor that I was, although I practiced capoeira, was introduced to, sort of a more choreographic, planned performance style of Maculelê. And so we are gonna together work on because you don't have sticks, you didn't bring your sticks, you'll know for next time, I'm gonna do a little demo and then we're gonna all clap some basic patterns together, and that's how we'll end.
Nice.
Okay? All right, cool.
How fast do you want?
I want to go fast, man. Like, we don't leave it all on the dance floor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, perfect time. We have a couple of minutes left. So it would be amazing if maybe we can slow down a little bit and then everybody could experience it, please, the movements. Yeah?
So you can do it from your seat, but if you want to stand up, you also can. It's up to you. And instead of our sticks, you'll be clapping your hands.
Yeah, but we do need one person to help us to play the bell. Yeah, what's her name, please?
Rian.
Rian? All right, let's clap for Rian. All right, Rian, so let's clap Rian's part. Is this okay? All right, that was amazing. Thank you so very much. We hope that we got to learn. We hope that we also had a good time while doing it.
I had a good time.
So that's sounds good. And then, so before we start the Q&A session, let's please put our hands together one more time for JoBeth. Kaitlyn.
Santos.
sleeping.
Sorry.
Just don't Google, please. And so, shall we? Do you guys have any questions for any of us, please? Do you want to share? Yeah?
I got the technology.
So the website is blueversity.com.
Yes. And it's our project. It's a family of drumming ensembles in different parts of the country, and each drum ensemble have to support a local cause that is important to them in order to be part of our family. So in a nutshell, we're using the fun of drumming to make communities, and then have that you would say before you would say manpower, have that group power to support something that is important to that particular group. Bob, right? Bob? No, it wasn't Bob. He's not looking. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Right.
Unless anybody else has a question. How did you get, like, can you talk a little bit more about how you got into this style of drumming? Like, you have any more nuggets to share with us, any other origin stories?
Because it was everybody, I saw that group, the Olodum group, and then I saw how much fun it was bringing to me and my friends, and so I'd love to do this. And I guess what? Let's make our own band, and then we made our own drumming ensemble back in early high school. But in a nutshell, that's kind of the story.
That's awesome.
Well, then there's the parents don't want you to be a musician. There's that part too. We'll leave that one out. Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Paul Simon's album, Rhythm of the Saints, and I'm hearing a lot of the same rhythms and drum techniques. Is that true? Was it Afro-Brazilian?
100%. What's
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, your name again, please?
My name is Jeff.
Can we please clap for Jeff? Thank you for also documenting this. We can't wait to watch too, and maybe something that we can use in classes as well. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. Great question, because we have such a limited time, so we had to make a decision. Michael Jackson or Paul Simon? But Paul Simon was much more pivotal with the popularization of this style in Brazil and outside of Brazil. And then a quick story then about this. Paul Simon, it was his CD after the one he did in South Africa. So he was looking for another collaboration, thank you, with a group from somewhere around the world. His percussionist, Ciro Batista, and this story is firsthand because I played with Ciro Batista, not with Paul Simon, I wish. But I played with Ciro, and then he was telling me this story. So Paul Simon asked him, would you recommend? And then he said, there's this group called Olodum, and that's how it all started. So fast forward the success of that particular recording you referred to. He got his payment. Neguinho do Samba got the payment from Ciro, and then Ciro left, came back to New York, and thought, okay, so he's going to spend with cars and booze, and he comes back a few years later and asked Neguinho do Samba, remember this photo was here. What did you do with that money? I'll show you. They walk in, he points at a building, and what he did was he brought this music, he created a drumming ensemble just like Olodum, meant for women. Only the first Bloco Afro all-female Bloco Afro. But guess who were those women, especially back in the late 90s? They were women that didn't have access to education, they were homeless, they would sell their bodies, so he brought them all in under, so do you want to get out of this life? Come here, let's and then he used the fun of drumming to attract them into the project, and they're still going strong actually now in Brazil. Thank you for bringing that, that's great.
Similar note,
There is a song by a British singer, Kaitlyn. It's called Thank You. She went on a tour to South Africa, and they incorporated the South or the African drums into the song. Are you familiar with that song?
Unfortunately not, but I'm looking forward to Googling now, yes.
Okay, I think you should Google it because it's a beautiful song. They were able to incorporate all these instruments as an intro to the song, and it was amazing success. It just reminded me a lot.
It's called Thank You by
Dido.
Dido?
Yes.
Nido.
Diddo, I think.
Oh,
Dido.
Thank you for sharing. Nice.
I was hoping that you knew about it so you can give us the intro for that song, but apparently not.
Next time, rehearse.
Yeah, and then we should, we have Wi-Fi too. Next time. Mark?
In Samba Reggae, is it mainly percussion or is it like any pitch instruments, like guitars?
No, you answered, but I think it's a really good question. You're a plant, I know you're a plant.
And please remember your jacket. Don't leave it So Mark was asking if there are other instruments that are non-percussion instruments that are incorporated into the music of Bocos Afro. So in the 90s, in the late 90s, they started then adding bass, guitar, keys, horns. So it became like a regular band, but with a lot more percussionists. So yes, they use it, although traditionally speaking, from the 80s and 70s and its origins, it's all about voice and drums. That's the way you play with our ensemble, and that's how we do most of the time. So going back to the traditional way of doing, just vocals and percussion instruments. Piano is a percussion instrument. I should say drums, not percussion instrument, because a piano is a percussion instrument, right?
all instruments are percussion instruments.
There you go.
That's a help to Diane.
It's cool.
I have a question. You mentioned the capoeira. So was that kind of intertwined with the maculelê? Was it before or after?
So I would posit to suggest that that they both kind of have these murky origins swirling and related sort of to the transatlantic slave trade, but kind of became what they both styles became what we know of them today in the cradle of Afro-Brazilian civilization of the state of Bahia, and sort of contemporarily speaking, many capoeira schools, both of capoeira regional and capoeira Angola, which are two distinct styles, often in their events, they will be followed by demonstrations or classes of maculelê. I would say in the United States and Europe, and even also in Brazil, these modalities are linked for sure. And another really good quote of Popó, somebody asked him, and this is often a question that people ask about capoeira, is it a dance or a martial art? Is it a fight or a dance? And Popó, and I'm paraphrasing, said something like, it is attack and defense set to black music. And I think that is also something that absolutely could be said about capoeira as well.
So earlier you were talking about archetypal movements when it comes to maculelê. Is there other specific dances that traditionally that they would do for a certain celebrations, like a birth or during holidays? Do they have specific dances, or is it mostly just improvised?
No, Marcus, do you want to start on this question, or do you want?
Sure, I go for it.
Well, no. Do you want to start on this question?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, now it's, I hate to say this, now it's all fun and games. That would be the expression in English. Fun and games. Now everything goes. I mean, we we learn about the roots and how it emerged, but these same styles, you would hear them in street protests, so it will be more linked to the origins, but you also hear in birthdays and obviously during carnival, or just on a Tuesday night in the streets that we're getting together to play music.
Something else that I would say that even underneath the umbrella of local Afro and Samba Reggae, there are distinct styles of movement that often correlate to the setting, whether it's a cultural arts presentation or a party in the street, and then also to the style and the tempo of the rhythm. There would be maybe more different styles of movement. And if y'all ever get a chance to go on your phone or go on your YouTube and look up another band he didn't talk about called Leone, there's a wonderful dance style called Samba Afro that is performed largely in soloists, like these beautiful black female dancers that every year compete to be the queen, right? And there's a couple of really wonderful documentaries that highlight this competition, and you will see how it's related to this style of Samba Reggae, but also has its very distinct flavor. I mean, so there's really just so much variation and specificity, again, that I would say would relate to either the group or the setting of with which the music and dance are presented.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Please join me in thanking them.